Chapter 1. The signal dust rose from the red plain, shimmering in the harsh sunlight. The descent capsule hissed as it cooled, steam billowing from its heat exchangers. Commander May Lorenz unstrapped herself and pushed the hatch open, taking the first step onto the surface of Gliese. 881 seed, suit integrity, nominal. Atmospheric pressure, 0.87 Earth standard. No external threats detected, the AI voice confirmed in her helmet. May glanced back at her team as they emerged behind her. Dr. E, exogeologist. Leon Rivas, structural engineer. Kowalski and Lamb, security. And Hiroshi Tanaka, linguist and cognitive systems expert. Their boots crunched the surface as they spread out, scanning the area. This planet had been cataloged long ago, dry, tectonically, quiet, uninhabited. But 6 months ago, an autonomous probe had picked up something strange, a structured signal coming from beneath the surface. Too regular to be natural, too complex to ignore, they had come to find its source. The landscape stretched endlessly, dotted with jagged stone formations like the bones of a dead world. In the distance, the ridge curved unnaturally, a crescent rising from the dust. Leon adjusted his scanner. That's not erosion. Look at the angle of those striations. It's artificial. May nodded. This is it. Begin survey. As the team approached, their instruments began to flicker. Interference, magnetic. Resonance increasing, he reported. We're standing on top of something big. Then Hiroshi stopped. His visor fogged slightly, though the suit was sealed. Do you hear that? He asked. Hear what? May turned toward him. It's like a pulse. A rhythm. It's not sound. I feel it. A faint vibration traveled through the ground. Not seismic, not mechanical, but present. A low, steady beat, like a heart buried in stone. May knelt and placed her gloved hand on the ground. IT responded. By the third day, they had found the entrance, hidden beneath layers of sand and compacted dust. A circular formation, with smooth, seamless edges. No door, no hatch, just a depression, faintly humming. Leon deployed the plasma cutter, but the moment the arc touched the surface, the circle lit up. Concentric rings of light expanded outward, and the ground began to descend. It's opening, he whispered. The dust swirled into the newly formed shaft. Blackness below. Prep the descent drone, May ordered. The drone slipped into the tunnel, lights cutting through the dark. It descended 20, 50, 100 meters, and then stopped. Signal lost, Leon said. Just like the probe. Same depth. May made her decision quickly. We go down. Full gear. 2-hour window. If we lose contact, ascend. No. One argued. The descent was silent. The walls of the shaft were smooth, slightly translucent, glowing faintly. They gave off no heat, no radiation, but something resonated in the suits. At the bottom, the shaft opened into a chamber. Perfectly spherical. Black walls. Unmarred, yet reflecting subtle patterns that shifted as they moved. In the center, suspended in the air, hovered a massive object, a sphere within a sphere. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal. Is it levitating? He asked, incredulous. There are no visible supports, Leon confirmed. No cables, no magnets. Nothing. There's something else, Hiroshi murmured. He stepped closer, fingers twitching. The sphere pulsed once, and he froze. Hiroshi? May asked. He turned. His eyes were wide, unfocused. It's thinking, he said. And now it sees us. Then he collapsed. They brought him back up in silence. In the med bay, Hiroshi lay unconscious, his vitals stable but erratic, brain activity off the charts. Like he was dreaming at impossible speed. What the hell happened down there? Lamb demanded. He made contact, May said. Or it made contact with him. He turned to her. Commander, that sphere, it's not a device. I don't think it's even a machine. Then what is it? He hesitated. It's a memory. Alive. And waiting. May looked. Out the window, toward the ridge, where dust swirled around the still open shaft. Something had awakened beneath them. And it was not done. Chapter 2. Echoes below the wind howled across the ridge as night fell. The expedition shelter, fabricated in hours from smart polymer blocks, glowed softly in the darkness. Inside, May sat across from Dr. E, reviewing Hiroshi's vitals. He's stable, but unresponsive. he said, frowning. Cortical activity is not human normal. It's like his brain is processing terabytes of input per second. Input from what? May asked. He shook his head. No idea. He might have formed a neural link, something non-invasive, but direct, like a broadcast into the mind. May leaned back, exhaling. And the rest of us? Do we get exposed too? No signs yet, but I think the contact chose him. Maybe his neural patterns were a better fit. In the silence that followed, the soft rhythm returned, the same pulse they'd felt underground. But now it echoed faintly through the camp walls. Outside, Kowalski was on perimeter duty when his HUD blinked. Motion. He spun, rifle up, but saw nothing. This place messes with your head, he muttered. Then the sound came again, a soft chime, almost like glass tapping stone. He turned, and for a fraction of a second, thought he saw a figure near the ridge, tall, pale, motionless. But when he blinked, it was gone. Commander, we've got movement on the northern perimeter, he called out. Might be reflection, artifacts, but the signal cut for a moment, static, then returned. Repeat that, Koval. No response. May was already grabbing her suit. Leon, with me. Let's check it out. They reached the ridge within minutes. Nothing. No footprints, no signals, just the wind carving lines through dust. But something felt wrong. The ground beneath their feet vibrated ever so slightly, as though the planet itself was holding its breath. Leon pointed. The shaft. It's glowing again. They hurried back. The sphere had risen a few centimeters off its pedestal, pulsing. Softly. Around it, fragments of light began to form. Symbols, patterns, fractals. A projection. But of what? It's like it's trying to communicate, Leon whispered. May approached carefully. The symbols rotated, converging into a lattice. Then something else emerged, faint images of stars, planetary systems, and lines connecting them like a networked, a map, she guessed. Then the projection shifted to Earth, or something very close to it, followed by flashes, war, climate collapse, rebuilding. The early decades of the 22nd century, rendered in seconds, then darkness, then glees, 881C. And finally, the sphere itself. A recursive loop, as if it were showing its own memory and how it reached them. It's been watching, May murmured. Recording. Waiting. Leon's voice was barely audible. For what? Later, in the command tent, the team assembled. This thing, it's not just observing, he said. It's measuring us. Evaluating. You think it's a test? Lamb scoffed. That's a big leap. No, not a test. An invitation. Or a filter. May looked at Hiroshi, still unconscious, but murmuring in languages no one recognized. We've stumbled onto something ancient. Maybe alien. Maybe more than that. But it's awake now. And it knows we're here. Kowalski folded his arms. So what's our play? Dig deeper and risk losing more people? Or report this and back off? No one answered right away. May stood. We're here to explore, not retreat. Tomorrow we go back in. And this time, we take more than just our eyes. As dawn broke, the team descended again. The shaft welcomed them, the walls glowing more brightly this time, as if recognizing them. When they reached the chamber, the sphere had changed. New lines traced across its surface. The air buzzed with static, the pulse stronger now, almost musical. He activated a data pad synced to neural sensors. Let's see if we can talk back. He approached the sphere slowly, holding out the device. As he neared, the air shimmered, and the symbols reappeared. But this time, they responded to him, adjusting orientation and spacing. Like adapting to language, May stared in awe. It's learning, Leon whispered. Or remembering. Then, the sphere pulsed once, and Hiroshi's voice echoed from the comms. The threshold is near. Everyone froze. Hiroshi? You're not here. You're not alone. Not anymore, he said, through the sphere. Then silence. When they returned topside, the winds had calmed. In the evening light, the planet seemed quieter. The pulse remained, deeper now, almost part of the ground. May watched the horizon. They were no longer just visitors. Something ancient had found them, and it was listening. Chapter 3. The memory core. The descent this time was different. The walls of the shaft pulsed gently with each step, as if the structure itself had a heartbeat. The team was quiet, alert, scanning every shadow, every flicker of light. Hiroshi walked. At the front, not fully awake, not fully dreaming. His eyes were open, but his words came slowly, deliberately, as if translated from a language no one else could hear. It's deeper, he whispered. Much deeper. Beneath the first layer. Beneath what we call structure. Are we following your memory or its guidance? May asked. Both, Hiroshi replied. They're starting to merge. The chamber expanded as they descended. The tunnel was no longer just a passage, it was transforming. Walls folded away, revealing internal geometries, shifting forms that obeyed no human architecture. The deeper they went, the less it felt like a ruin. More like a living organism. Yeez. Scanner pinged. Radiation spike. Low frequency. Non-ionizing. It's information density. Like a hard drive? Leon asked. More like a mind, he answered. They stepped into a vast hall. Towering arches, impossibly thin, curved above them. In the center stood a crystalline column, 20 meters tall, rotating slowly within a magnetic field that didn't exist moments before. Within it, a storm of lights. A galaxy in miniature. Hiroshi stepped forward. This is where it stores itself. May raised her hand to stop him, but it was too late. Hiroshi reached out, and the column responded. The lights expanded outward, passing through him and the team. For a second, everything dissolved. May was standing on a bridge of glass, suspended above an endless sky. Around her, impossible structures floated, cities of thought, languages of color and rhythm. She saw people, or things like people, formed from light and sound. And then, ruin, planets cracking, oceans boiling, stars going dark. A voice, no, a presence, spoke without sound. They were many. They were curious. They reached beyond what they understood. We are what remains. Then she was back in the hall. Everyone staggered, breathless, disoriented. He fell to his knees. I saw a civilization. No, civilizations. Stacked like layers. Each one rising from the bones of the last. Leon looked paled. This place, it's not just a tomb. It's a relay. A memory vault. A warning, Kowalski added. May looked at Hiroshi, who remained still, his eyes glowing faintly. Hiroshi? She asked. He spoke slowly. They weren't gods. They were like us. Driven. Divided. And they left this behind, not as a monument, but as a message. What kind of message? Lamb asked. That the pattern repeats. Unless someone breaks it. They returned to the surface in silence. Back at camp, comms were partially restored, but the station remained dark. May suspected interference wasn't just environmental. The team gathered in the common module. Tension hung thick. Let's summarize, May said. We've discovered a self-sustaining structure of alien origin, potentially millions of years old, housing a memory archive that reacts to human consciousness and possibly influences it. He added. Hiroshi appears partially integrated, Leon said. Whether he can be safely separated is unclear. Or if we should, Hiroshi said, now lucid. I understand more now. They built this not to preserve themselves, but to prepare the next ones. Kowalski frowned. Next what? Successors, Hiroshi said. Us. Or whoever came next. The archive waits for minds that can carry it forward. Lamb leaned forward. You're saying it wants to be passed on. Not wants. Needs, Hiroshi replied. The structure is incomplete without a host. Consciousness is the missing component. May crossed her arms. And what happens when that host accepts it? No one answered that. Night, the lights returned. Above the ridge, in the sky, faint shapes formed, circles within circles, like ripples in space-time. The planet vibrated, subtly but unmistakably. Hiroshi stood alone at the edge of camp, staring upward. May joined him. You still in there? She asked. He smiled. And for the first time in days, he looked like himself. Yes. And not alone. He turned to her. There's more. A deeper core, where choice resides. Choice. To accept. Or to leave. That's the final layer. It cannot be forced. Only offered. May looked toward the structured IT had always felt dormant. Now, it felt expectant. Waiting. Asterisk chapter 4. The threshold at dawn. The ground trembled again, more distinct this time. Not an earthquake, but a signal. A summoning. The entire team stood. At the edge of the shaft, now wide open, its interior glowing with faint golden light. The structure no longer felt like a ruin. It pulsed with purpose, active and aware. May turned to Hiroshi. Is this it? The final level? He nodded. It's inviting us in. All of us. Lamb looked uneasy. Why now? Because. We're ready. Hiroshi said. And if we're not? Kowalski muttered. Then nothing happens, Hiroshi replied. But if we are, everything changes. The descent felt different now. There was no more interference. The structure welcomed them to the lowest chamber yet. They stepped into a space unlike anything before. Enormous, spherical, the walls alive with cascading light and sound. Patterns danced along the floor in response to their footsteps. In the center stood a pedestal, and atop it, a second sphere. Smaller, darker, silent. What is that? Leon asked. Hiroshi approached it with reverence. The threshold core. The last interface. The decision point. And what's the decision? May asked. Whether to become part of it. You mean merge? He asked. No, not assimilation. Integration. The archive doesn't overwrite, it adapts. It evolves with the mind that joins it. And if we refuse? Lamb said, it waits. For others. For another time. The lights dimmed. Then the core lit up, projecting symbols, words, thoughts, choices. Each member of the team saw something different. For May, it was Earth. Not as it was, but as it could become, thriving, united, reaching outward without fear. She saw herself as part of something greater, not commander of an expedition, but of a turning point. For E, it was knowledge, impossible layers of science, biology, cosmology. Equations that folded into poetry. For Leon, it was design, structures that lived, breathed, grew. Lamb and Kowalski saw memories, shared traumas, wars, beauty. The choice to repeat or rise. And for Hiroshi, it was silence. Then the core spoke, not in words, but presence. To remember is not enough. To carry forward is the task. You are not chosen. You choose. The pedestal pulsed once. Then it waited. N01 moved for several minutes. Then May stepped forward. She placed her hand on the sphere that a surge of sensation rushed through her. Not pain, not pleasure, but connection. The others followed, one by one. When Hiroshi placed his hand last, the room responded. The chamber exploded in light. They awoke on the surface. The shaft was gone, replaced by flat earth, undisturbed. The structure had sealed itself, but something had changed. Each of them carried new awareness. They couldn't explain it. There were no words, but they knew. Languages they'd never learned danced on the edge of their thoughts. Concepts unfolded like wings. Hiroshi looked to the sky. It's part of us now. Not just memory, direction. May touched the communicator. The long-range signal, silent for days, now crackled with clarity. We're sending it all back, she said. Everything. Will they understand? Leon asked. May smiled. They won't need to. Not right away. But they'll feel it. Just like we did. As they prepared for departure, the ridge shimmered behind them. As if watching, the pulse had stopped, or maybe it had simply moved inside them. And across the vast cold of space. Something ancient finally exhaled.